Hello and welcome to Church Today. I'm Michael Fisher. I'm the Director of Communications for the South Carolina Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. My co-host is Carrie Graves. She's Canon for Communications of the Episcopal Diocese of Upper South Carolina. Hello, Carrie.
Hi, Neil. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. Today we have a special guest. His name is Justin Dean. He is an experienced communications and PR advisor. He equips leaders to help and reach more people. He's also the co-founder of the Church Conference in Atlanta and has a great deal of experience in communications, including Mars Hill Church. He has a new book. It is Right Little Hands, PR Matters Side to Church Communications. Hello, how are you today?
Hey, Neil and Carrie, thanks for having me on. I've loved the show so far, so it's an honor to be here with you guys.
It's our pleasure. Carrie, do you want to get started here today?
Question for you, Justin. So often in the world of church communications ministry, terms like marketing, branding, and PR are kind of frowned upon. They don't seem godly enough. But no matter how you look at it, the principles behind those terms apply to church communications. So what is PR to you in the church communications field, and why does it matter?
Sure, yeah, I hear that a lot. I mean, PR in general kind of has a negative. People usually think about it as like a big corporation spinning the facts, or think about politics and press secretaries, people lying to you, things, trying to cover up different things. Literally, the PR guy comes in crazy like a murderer. Have this like negative feeling about it. The church, you go, well, the church isn't a business. The church shouldn't have to worry about this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's important because our mission, right, what congregation you're with or what denomination you're affiliated with, our goal is to reach the world with the gospel. And marketing and PR are great ways to reach masses. In the book, I kind of started making the argument that PR is something that you're doing already, because everything that we say or everything that we don't do and don't, people have a perception about you based on a number of different things. What you do, how you look, how the site looks, things like that. So it's important for churches to pay attention to.
Yeah, thank you for reframing that in that way, because it is everything that we do. It's everything that we're saying. Like you say, when we go out in the world and represent our church, we're being a PR representative, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you think most people, when you're coming to a new church, one of the first things you do these days is you check out the page, you check out the website, try to see some photos and videos of what the church is like. I think you're going to be in there. And all of that is representing your church in a way. If people see a news story about your church, if it's good, then they're going to have a positive perception of your church. If they're going to have a negative perception of your church, you or ever have visited you. And so all of that needs to be managed well, because as a that perception out there to align with the reality of what you are and who you actually are and what you believe in and what it's actually like to be there. Someone needs to manage that, because perceptions can go a number of different ways.
Right. Can learn to walk.
Justin, as you're saying, it's important to manage your congregations, whether that's in the flesh and line. How would you suggest a congregational usher might keep their pastor leaders informed of what's going on around them?
Sure. It's important to pay attention to new technologies like social media. For one, is a huge way to get a pulse on what people feel and what you're putting out there. It's forms in order to actually get content out there that shows what you're all about. So having someone who is at least keeping a pulse and listening to social media, and then through some blogs and things. I mean, there's not a lot of churches who really try to get news stories out there in the community, let alone reply, knocking on the door or showing up on a Sunday crew. So paying attention and then reporting that up to your senior leaders. I mean, one thing that I used to do at Mars Hill was a weekly PR brief. So and writing about us, and I would do news clippings and things like that, and I would compile it all into just a weekly email to say, hey, here's what people are saying about us, and even what people are saying internally. And that way we can kind of come together on a weekly basis and react to that however needed.
So you mentioned what would that look like?
I think you include quotes of what we're saying. I like on a different scale. This, one is you need to know about 5 might be the action on this immediately is going to affect attendance or donors or different things. And so it's good to scale things that way. But I think, it should include what people are saying. It should include some assumptions of what maybe is to come. And then it kind of needs to come down the other way too. Like senior leaders should be sharing with the communications team things that are coming so that they have a holistic kind of overview of everything. So they can say, hey, okay, we're going to make a major announcement or a major change. I know because I have a pulse on the front line how this is going to affect people, how they're going to it. So let's form a plan now to make that announcement. So it's kind of be a two-way communication between the communications team and the senior leaders.
In your book, you talk about the importance. Earlier, you talked about its power. How much attention we emphasize our social presence? Should we look at that?
Percentage-wise, I'm going to go kind of, with a greater percentage. I don't know if that's 50% or 60% even, but when you look at it, it really depends a lot on your audience and your community and the type of church you are and things like that. Like you can't, it all needs to align with your mission, goals, and what you want to do with. When you think about it, social media is how we communicate these days. It's how we stay relatives. It's how we stay in touch with friends, even friends face to face on a daily basis. We're communication through Facebook. It's now I never go to .com or FoxNews.com or any of the sites. If it doesn't show Facebook feed, I may check it in the news app every once in a while. But if it's not, I'm probably not going to see it. And so where we live, that's where people are, and that's where they're telling you how you're to them. And that represents a larger than really any pulpit out there. You look at the largest church and it's still as big as the opportunity is on Facebook. We had a church of 15,000 and we had a few hundred watching our sermons through YouTube every week. There's no way we church that would have had 100, 200,000 people showing up and sitting in a church. So we dedicated a lot towards our social presence, building community there, getting to know who those people were and meeting their needs as well, in addition to who's showing things on Sunday.
Thank you. So are there some basics? What are some starting places to help social media platform?
Well, I think, the first thing you do, most churches are worried about what do I post? What kind of content can I put out there? And I think, you can get a week's worth of, don't worry about starting a blog yet. Don't worry about going on Facebook Live or doing Snapchat stories or Instagram stories. Just start really basic with what you have. And that's your Sunday sermon. You're already producing it every week. And so you can take, even if you're hearing it for the first time on Sunday, have someone sit there listening to it, pull quotes from it. And you can actually schedule one a day or multiple a day, like Buffer or Hootsuite or any of the services scheduling directly on Facebook. And you can have those go out throughout the week, come back to your website or link to if you post that anywhere. You can pull clips if you audio clips as well. Most of the times, a sermon can at least be one blog post, not 2 or 3. Have a blog or a website, you can easily post those on Facebook. Content's really easy, and I think that's enough right there. Then you get to other things, but really just to start listening. Build a Facebook art there because that's where the largest audience is. And then just start listening to people in your community are saying, what people are saying. Get to know who those people are. Start looking for needs and opportunities, serve them and love on them instead of doing the next event or promoting coming to church even. Find out how you serve people and just do that for a few weeks. If you're starting out, just start listening, start seeing what people are posting and start on that. And then you'll get to know your audience and how better to serve them.
Justin, I love your description of using Facebook for community. I think that is really critical in this current day of church communications. We have to reach out to the community, and Facebook is one way to do that. Another thing, you talked about the news feed and how you get your news from Facebook. And we all know that Facebook creates algorithms that direct our news feed towards our interests. Church is putting out what they do and who they are well, then hopefully they'll have followers that will start to build a community. It's a great tie-in. You talk about the power of relationships in your book. This is a big one for me. I've seen some church communication descriptions that are direct communication and community building. We were just talking about. So relationship building is so important. Just kind of give us the heart and soul of it.
Yeah, for a while, my title actually changed from communications director to, I think, community relations director, because that was more of the emphasis that we wanted to have. When you're looking at, a public relations person or a communications person, part of their job should be keeping a pulse on what that perception of the church is, so that you can manage that and help align that more with the reality of who you actually are. And so to do that, you actually do need to, get in the public and actually, so you pose a question on Facebook, be prepared to actually engage in the comments and reply to people and like their comments, go to their page and comment on their stuff, and build relationships that way. These are real people. They're not just random robots on Facebook that are there to, raise your likes. These are real people that you engage with. Some of them probably go to your church, or they might need to know about Jesus. There's opportunities there. A church needs to relationships with the community for a number of reasons. For one, that's the community you're trying to reach, hopefully. And so you want to talk to, restaurant owners, business owners, political leaders that are in your actual community and city, and then even senators and House representatives as well in your county. And you just want to know the people around you that make up that you're serving, and really you can find out ways to serve them better. You find opportunities on how to tell people about Jesus. Something does go wrong, if allegation made against your church or happens and you're in the middle of a PR crisis, you're going to find that it's a lot to navigate that crisis if you have more the real you and not board or just the building that they drive by, but they actually know you, talk to you. You've held a fundraiser at their restaurant, you've showed up at thing, and they've actually seen you face to face. That really matters. Having that face interaction as much as you can actually does matter. People, even psychologically, will give you the benefit of the doubt if they've faced in person and then heard you speak and like that. So that stuff really matters. You can branch out to influencers and celebrities. You can do that online and offline and things like that. Identify people in your church and the skills that they have that you can partner with them, serve them and things like that. But really trying to build relationships possible. I think nowadays churches are just, hey, we're a good show, we've got some great music, we've got preaching, it's the best in the world, and we have plenty of space for you. Come on and see what we're about, and then just be on your way, because I've got to take a nap because I've been 3 times today, and we'll see you later. Hopefully you join a community group. A part of it, you go join a community group. That's our interaction with the church, and I think that that's kind of shame on the church. There's a lot more that we can be doing just on social media alone.
That is really excellent advice. You knocked that one out of the park. Thank you so much. In my diocese, we have been working with a curriculum called Shift, based on a book by Mark Tidsworth. And one of the shifts is moving from attractional to missional, which is what you just described.
Yeah.
But I love the tips you gave about connecting with restaurant owners, business owners, all of those people in the community, because they may or may not go to church. They may or may not be part of your denomination. They may be part of a very involved member of, the Presbyterian church down the street. But for them to know who you are, and for all of us to be in relationship, is really, really important. In my Episcopal Communicators group, one of my colleagues talks about your PR reputation, driving by and saying, I know that they are the church that that church, they're known for this. And then in addition, the relationship. And then social media.
If they're a restaurant owner, they may not even be in, but if they see a news article about that's even slightly negative, if seen you before, if it's just in their restaurant and you bring up to your church and they know about it, they're, you know what, this sounds negative. I know them. I've seen them. This be right. There's probably more to the story. And that alone diffuses things and actually helps align it more with the reality of who you actually are. Because a lot of that stuff you can't control. You can't control somebody writing about you or a member leaving and blogging about it. I mean, that's just stuff that's going to happen. But all of this helps manage your perception and reputation of your church in a way.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Great advice.
So, Justin, really want to thank you for being here today. I want to talk and your new book, for example.
Oh, sure. So, I mean, my day job these days is run that church conference. So we do a big conference here, 2-day conference in Atlanta. It's actually coming up in September. You can go to thatcc.com. We've actually, I think, only got about 20 tickets left, so that's about to sell out soon. But we're going to live stream it online and stuff like that. So go to thatcc.com to sign up for that. And we really teach churches how to use digital technology, social media, the tools at our disposal now to reach more people with the gospel And we think there's a real need there that most churches are overlooking. So this is our third year doing that. We're really excited about that. And then the book just released a couple weeks ago. You can get that at churchprbook.com. And you can find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and everywhere books are sold, I guess. But that's been going really well. People have been just really generous with the feedback on the book, and I know it's helpful. It actually includes like a complete crisis plan. I kind of just built one and tried it free with the book, so people can get the book and they're ready to go.
All right, thank you very much. And we're going to wrap up today's show. First of all, if you would like to leave us some feedback, let's tell you about how to do that. Of course, like the video and subscribe on our YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment there. It's facebook.com ChurchComm and we could always interact on Periscope and Twitter with you at ChurchComm Today. Let me wrap up today by saying thank you for watching, and I hope these videos will to you. Have a great day.